One. What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. We got my guys in here, Clayton, Tump, man. I think we got another great show lined up for y'all today. I'm gonna do the make sure to like and subscribe also too, as y'all tune in and check out the content. But I'm just doing like a quick sound check. Man, I think like the first thing I wanna talk about today though, I want to talk about some of that WNBA. Like yesterday, y'all know the Sky and the Fever played each other. Now they ain't had the Fever didn't have Caitlin Clark, but they still went to work on them without Caitlin Clark, right? Mm-hmm. And so my question to y'all is, like, what do you like? What role do y'all think Angel Reese should play on this team, like going forward? Do y'all think is she a focal point, or do y'all see her more so like as a role player with like the kind of productivity that you're getting with her?
Yeah, I think her coach sees her as a role player at this point because the way they've moved out of the paint to some degree sometimes, and then the focal point is they got the girl that got hurt yesterday, the ball in her hand a lot more. And then they have another young lady. I think her name is Finch. I'm not sure.
Finch. I think you're right.
Yeah, she doing majority of the scoring. And so I think the team already sees it like that. She's an outstanding rebounder, but other than that, I mean, she's in mid-season. I mean, the season started and she's doing workouts, still working on layups and all these kind of things. So I just don't think they see her. She's not even getting that many shot attempts anymore.
Yeah. And so
I tend to agree with that too. It's like she has a role. I think they're moving away from trying to make her like the focal point of the offense and things like that, because she's limited on the offensive end. Now she'll play hard, she'll rebound, she'll play defense. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Chase down loose balls, things like that. But as far as, being like a focal point of the offense, no, I don't think she'll flourish in that role at all.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if they move on from her.
Oh, you think so?
At some point,
yeah. You think she might have worn out our welcome? I mean, what would be the reason, Clay? You think she won?
Like I said, I seen a report a few weeks ago, and it was, I forget who broke this story. One of those front office sports, somebody, but they said that she had a meeting with the Sky's went to the office, had a meeting with the Sky's management, and it's speculation that she was kind of saying she wanted out, first.
Now, do you think she asking out because she's not the focal point?
See that, that's what I don't know, but that's what it it feels like that.
Yeah.
It feels like that. But a
lot of times, boy, we gotta be self-aware, boy. You know what I
mean? You gotta be self-aware. You gotta be self-aware.
Self-aware, man.
Yeah. So, but look, all right. Mm-hmm. It would be to her like the best thing I would think for Angel Reese to do is just to really just elevate her game, though, don't you think? Instead of like asking for out, because if she goes somewhere else, she gonna have to, you know what I mean? Like her skill set as it currently is gonna be what it is.
Right.
You know.
And I don't see her going to somewhere else. Her offensive, her role on the offense, grows. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, with her skill set.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I don't see her going to, another team and then getting a whole bunch of shot attempts like Clayton said. They going to her more often and, stuff like that. So.
And it's only one team that I even think she could possibly get shot attempts, but I'm not even sure about that because they showing signs now. And that was the Connecticut Sun. Mm-hmm. But every other roster, I don't see her going nowhere, being no focal point. I really don't. Yeah. But them Suns, the Connecticut Suns, man, they surprising people. They even coming together a little bit. Yeah. So
yeah, I think I mean, basically what she has to do is, and it's going to take some of her like really just squall on her pride and just working on her game. I know that when Lisa Leslie was on her show, she said that she wanted to work on her and help her with her low post game and stuff like that, you know. So that's basically, you know, what she's gonna have to do. It's not like, then on top of that, it's not like Angel Reese is starting from the bottom. You know what I mean? She's a professional athlete and she earned her way to this level. So basically, she just got to put in that work, you know.
But do you think it's possible for her? I mean, just looking at her tendencies. See, she's got to break a lot of tendencies that seem natural to her. And that's a hard thing to do.
Oh, she had to definitely put the work in to do it. She definitely had to put the work in to do it. And then, see, that's another thing, Mike. You always speak on this, man. You know, what is your bread and butter? Now she might not even look at the WNBA as her bread and butter, but if that's, you know, if that's getting you in the door, you got to make sure, you know what I'm saying, you hone your craft and sharpen your skills. You can't look at that as like secondary, you know. But maybe she does, because I know she's doing the modeling thing and stuff like that. So she's like, well, WNBA, and they say she made a comment one time where the WNBA salary don't pay her rent or something like that. She had so maybe that's why she don't take it as serious. And you know what I mean? Some people think she should or whatever like that, because she said, well, that's just secondary to what I really, you know what I mean, got going on, you know.
I remember watching her and Lisa Leslie work. And Lisa Leslie was good for her because Lisa Leslie was trying to get her to do things that she doesn't do. Like she was trying to break her tendencies, get the ball up high, do different things. So, but then I saw footage. She went back to a person she's familiar with, and they constantly just feeding her, shooting threes and not trying to get her to correct her form and change her mechanics. They just, yeah, that's a good shot. Yeah. She needs somebody like Lisa Leslie that was like, no, you need to break that. You need to, you know, that kind of thing. And that's why I'm saying she's really got to break her tendencies to get better around the basket and stuff offensively. Yeah, because her shot, people blocking it easy. She shoots from here. Yesterday in the game, she got like 3 shots blocked because the ball down here.
Right.
You know,
I see one time like a little segment. She was in the lane, and the girl, the young lady that was playing her was blocking her shot without even leaving her feet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? She was blocking her shot. And she was just putting her arms up. She wasn't even, you know what I'm saying, putting her feet jumping or anything, you know?
Yeah, I think that that's gonna be the key for her though, is to have somebody that she respect their opinion, and somebody that also that person needs to just be honest and upfront with her as far as like, you know, like her game is. I think that's probably going to be the only thing that really extends her her WNBA career though. You know,
not unless she gets reduced, not unless she just gets reduced to a role player, bench player, and like just a rebounder, defensive specialist, stuff like that. She might can stay in the league long because she's an outstanding rebounder.
Yeah,
you know, it's no question.
Active, you know what I'm saying? She works hard, active, you know what I mean? So she's always around the ball when it comes to that. I just think you know, her offensive skills, and she played good defense. But on the offensive side of the ball, you know what I mean, that's where she really, you know what I mean, could use some work.
You talk about them losing, right? Yesterday, not only didn't have Caitlin, they didn't even have their head coach, Mike.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right.
Head coach. Where the head coach?
She had personal issues, so she didn't travel with the team, the assistant coach to go. But they didn't have Sophie, they didn't have Caitlin, they didn't have Stephanie White. They didn't have some crucial things and beat them by 20 almost. So 27, something like that. So yeah. The sky's in bad shape.
Another thing about Angel Reese, you know, this not you know, the coach from last year got fired.
With a spoon.
Yeah, she got fired. So this new coach is Mike coming in with a whole different mindset for her. You know what I mean? Coming in with a whole different, you know what I mean, role for her to play. And maybe that's why she met with the front office and in the top brass, you know what I mean, voicing her concerns and things like that. So
yeah. So, but let me because VVS make a statement. He says media built up Reese to be a star player, but she's a role player, right? And so if like is that hard to is that hard to come back from, like if the media builds you up and you know what I mean, and then when you get to that level, you know, like your skill set say role player, but the media built you up, like is that hard to rebound back from?
Yeah, I think when you're young it is, because your ego is going to fleet. You know, in college she was one of the leading I think she might not have been the leading scorer in LSU, or she may have been. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not.
But she was an absolute star for that team.
That's definitely the case. She definitely was a star. Yes, that's definitely true.
Right. So now you got that feeding your ego, and then last year the media didn't help you by, portraying this thing like you was really in this Rookie of the Year race, which you really wasn't. Yeah. And then you went, and then you made the All-Star team. I was shocked she made the All-Star team, but
I think on top of that, Clay, you said they was trying to build a rivalry with her and Caitlin. Yeah. So they was trying to elevate her. Mm-hmm. Her status was elevated, not necessarily her game, but her status was elevated to make it, even with Caitlin.
Right.
But on court production wasn't close. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think it's starting to really show. I think it's starting to really show now that Caitlin as a player, she's better. You know what I mean? She's better. So it's tough to still make those comparisons now.
Yeah.
Let me Brenda Jameson says that Reese is a star player, not a role player. Stop hating. But my question is to Brenda, like what skill set do you see like that she have that would be like that says like she could control a game, dominate a game, or contribute to it, or put a team on her back with, like, what skill set do she bring to the table where as though she can dominate or control a game? Like, is it her, because that's what star players are. Like, and also like another statement that Brenda has made is that it takes more to be a star than just shooting, right? And I can, if she was a point guard, somebody like a Tyrese Halliburton who can, who could make other players better, or who could put people in a position to be successful, then that would be one thing. But that is not the skill set that that Angel Reese had, in my opinion.
Now she definitely can contribute on the defensive end.
Right, no doubt, no doubt.
Can contribute that part, on the defensive end, rebound and things like that, and that would help, a team's success. On the offensive part of the ball, I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say,
And we probably can name about 10 players that play her position that's way better at the, better field goal percentage, can rebound just as well, can play defense just as well, and shoot better. We probably can name some other players, other bigs in the game that's just as good. I think the girl she playing alongside, Cardosa, I think she's better. She's more efficient. Like this year, Angel Reese is shooting 27% from the field. Yeah. And you're talking about a person that's near the basket, and from 27% from from the field.
That's not 3 point. That's not 3.
No, that's a field goal percentage. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. It's not that we hate it. It's not hating at all. We want to see her do good. So we Baltimoreans, you know what I mean? She from John City. Shit.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, man. You definitely want to see Angel Reese do better. And so that's why the topic is like, what can she do to, to maintain or be able to stick in the league, or to help help her team out. And I think a big part of it is probably going to be like an attitude adjustment. You know what I mean?
She's going to have to humble herself, accept the role. Now she can become a Dennis Rodman for real. Because I remember last year she was wearing his jersey. Dennis Rodman wasn't no great offensive scorer, but he was a mega star. His rebounding was second to none, and he impacted the game from that.
Defensively, too.
Yeah, defensively and rebounding. He would give his team second and third shot opportunities. All that stuff makes a huge impact on a team. Yeah, and she could be that. She could really be that. And I'm also seeing her do that more now. Instead of her getting the rebound, trying to force it back up and have it blocked back in her face, or she miss a bunny, she's starting to throw it out. She's starting to throw it out.
And so that's good because now she hitting wide open teammates for easier opportunities. And you get more attempts at the, you know what I mean? You get more attempts to score. You know,
second,
so
third shot, you get second and third shots, on them offensive rebounds. So definitely.
Yeah.
So it's a work in progress, but I think she really needs to get with somebody that's gonna break them tendencies she's got, and it's gonna take a lot of work, a lot of repetition and stuff. It's hard, man. That's one of the hardest thing to do when you're right-handed. All of a sudden become left-handed. That's hard.
I just think I think she just need to build on like what you're talking about, Clayton. Her
what she does well.
Defensive, just because she could dominate at that. You know what I mean? If she and you put scores around her, and all she have to do is really focus on defense and rebounding. And she got that high motor and that athleticism that she, you know what I mean?
But do you think like Clayton just touched on ego and things like that? Do you think she want to be more than just that? You know what I'm saying? Do you think she want to be more than just like a rebounder and a defensive player?
I think she will go with that. If she sees success in that, I think she'll go with that. You know what I mean? I think because even at LSU, like you said, she was a mega star at LSU. But the girls, what's Flage? You know what I mean? Like was taking on a lot of that offensive burden, and then some of the other girls on that team. So she wasn't called upon to score. Her high energy really didn't hurt the team like it is now. Like all those rebounding and missing shots, that didn't really hurt LSU like that.
And the LSU was winning too. You know what I mean? Maybe people looked at different. You know what I mean? If the Sky was winning, you understand more than what they are. You know.
But didn't Angel average almost something like between 17 and 19 a game at LSU?
I gotta look that up.
I don't know. But
I don't know. I don't think it was. I don't know if it was that high though. It might have been.
I think it was.
Yeah.
She definitely averaged a double-double at LSU.
Right. I know that.
I can buy that.
Yeah. So, you're right, though. Flies, and she has scores around her, In college, a different animal, too. Because, you're not getting an equal matchup every night.
Every night. Most nights, you're not. You know what I mean? If you are, if you playing at a school that's top 10 in the country, you probably have like a handful of a tough games a year. You know what I mean? You might get 5, matchups a year, whereas though, and if you do good in 2 or 3 of those, then it's not bad.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how, because I remember when she came to Cobb, and you know what I mean, when LSU came up to Cobb, and so
they did.
They
oh, wow.
Yeah. So
did you go to that game?
No, I didn't go. No, I ain't go.
Wow.
But,
hey, real quick. Staying on the WNBA, Skylar, what's her name? Skylar
Diggins.
Yeah.
Skylar Diggins. Does she still in the league? She's still in the league?
Yeah.
She dropped 30 something last night.
Yeah. She in there.
Okay.
Yeah, she dropped 30 something.
Like you guys do. I don't follow it like you guys do.
Yeah.
Okay.
She got a divorce from old boy too.
Right.
Oh, really?
She dropped her last name. Yeah, she going through some stuff, but she playing. She balling hard right now.
Yeah, she balling.
Hey, Mike, I gotta say this, man. It's just one game, but the Valkyries.
Oh, they went to work.
Beat the Aces by damn near 30 yesterday.
Yeah, they went to work.
The Valkyries.
They went to work. They did. Yeah. I saw that yesterday too. But look, I want to talk to y'all too about the other. What's the young lady name? Dejanay Carrington, right?
Carrington. Yeah.
She what do y'all think about, like, is it dirty play, or is she just playing hard? Or do
It's
y'all think they dirty?
borderline. I seen a couple plays. It's kind of like borderline, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't see it as much, but I just seen a couple plays and I was like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, whoa. So it could be like borderline. I don't know.
Yeah.
You want to call it dirty, and I don't know. I'll let y'all guys. You know what I mean?
I mean,
You know what? All right. So
when you pulling a chick hair,
I
when
know.
you
Right.
pull and you pulling this chick hair.
Now that's what I thought. Now, see, I don't know how many other plays are like that. That's dirty, but I don't know how many other plays are to that extreme because I don't see it like that. You know what I'm saying?
She goes upside people's heads too. Now she got the excuse I'm swatting at the ball, but she goes upside of people. She gives people so many hard fouls. It's ridiculous.
So you would call it dirty, Clayton? You would call it dirty?
I'm gonna let Mike comment.
You know what? All right. I was looking at the play. I don't know who she pushed one girl in the back and with her left hand, and then with her right hand she swung and hit the girl in the head. So I'm thinking if I'm on a fast break and I'm going for a layup, once you leave the ground, if somebody put their hand in your back, then you know if you're moving at full speed, that it only take like
it won't take much. You in the air, somebody just nudge you. You know what I mean? It won't take much. Yeah.
So and then when you like Clayton said, you pulling people's hair, and then you got those long fingernails.
So what you think? What you think they gonna do? What you think the league gonna do about it?
The league is going to have to legislate that stuff out of the league.
They gonna have to.
Tell you why? Because we all enjoy physical basketball play, right? But when you think about like what Bill Laimbeer was doing to Michael Jordan and
That's
stuff
what it
like
looks
that.
like.
All right, skill is one thing, right? If you can skillfully and intelligently keep somebody from scoring, that's one thing. But if you don't have a skill and now you got to resort to wrapping people up around the shoulders and pushing them in the back, then that kind of stuff gotta go. And so for the WNBA to think that people want to see that, I think is going to do them a disservice. You know, I like her. I don't know. At first, she wasn't doing stuff like that, though. As far as like,
see, that was the question I was about to ask. Do you think she's like, well, okay, they're not gonna fine me? I don't know if she's getting fined and stuff. I don't know if she's getting tossed out of games and things like that. So she like, well, I'm gonna push the envelope until they straight it out, or before I get a big enough fine or punishment, 1 game suspension. I'm gonna go as far as I can with it. So I mean, the league would be, they would be smart to try to get that type of play out, because you don't want nobody to seriously get injured and stuff.
And if I'm the teams, man, you have to lobby the league office to do something, because I'm investing money into these players and shit like that. I run the risk of losing my investment long term, because some of that shit is dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, like, who was that? Who was that she poked in the eye? Oh, they accused of
that was Caitlin.
Caitlin,
I saw.
So I'm like, that's like
she turned. She turned into Dylan Brooks. She turned into Dylan Brooks, man.
Yeah, but it's just so dangerous. You know what I mean? It's dangerous.
Yeah. And I think some of the plays, because Dejanay Carrington is an athlete and she got that quick lateral movement and stuff, like some of the plays that she makes, she don't have to make.
You don't have to do it.
Well, none of those plays she don't have to make.
Nope.
So when you have that type of physical ability where you can stay in front of a person, or you can jump and you can affect their shot, like why are you pulling somebody's hair?
Yeah, you gotta resort to those type things.
Right, you don't have to pull somebody, or you don't have to poke people in the eye when you can already, and then like, all right, when she ran up on we just spoke about what's the young lady you said getting married? I mean, getting a divorce, Skylar. She came behind Skylar, right, with both hands up in the air, and it just came down hard on her. Like, if they on a breakaway and Skylar got the layup, ain't nothing. You got to let that play go.
Yeah, you got to let it go.
Ain't no, you can't. So yeah, I think that the league is going to have to legislate that stuff out of there, just like they did with Detroit. You can't do that, man, and just think that she playing hard. is dangerous. Somebody gonna get hurt, and I don't want they
That's
shouldn't
the
wait till somebody get hurt.
That's the main
And
thing.
then,
Somebody get hurt. Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, I just thought it was crazy, man. Because I was looking at those plays a day, and I just this season alone, she got at least 4 plays that are they dirty to me. I mean, because like once somebody leave the ground and you hit them in the head, or you push them in the back, or you
Not
grab
even
their
playing
head.
on the ball. You know what I'm saying? If they get a play on the ball and that happened, you know what I'm saying? That's just hard. You know what I mean? But if you're not even making a play on the ball, you're just out to try to, you know what I mean, hurt somebody. You know what I mean? That's
And right now too, you're getting so much more visibility too. You got games on prime time television, middle of the day, family time. You know what I'm saying? You about to get new deals and all that. You come on now, you got to protect your investment.
I think they will. I think they will.
Yeah,
Just for nothing else, that alone, that more eyes are on it. Yeah, and you don't want you don't want your product to be looked at as like it's a dirty league, bunch of cheap shot artists and things like that. Yeah, so
and some of the women in the league are enabling us, and to some degree. And as much as I love, like the Sue Birds and some of the other vets, they keep using this as justification. Well, they don't talk about it in the men's game. That's their justification. You enabling this kind of thing, like regardless if it's not spoke about in the men's game or not.
Right.
Unfortunately, people don't really want to tune in to women really assaulting each other like that. Yes, the physical play, but not like some of this shit. It just makes the game so unattractive. With women, it should be. I love their skills.
That's what I'm about to say. You want to see their skills.
They have excellent skills. They're good shooters. You got people on teams, man. All 5 people can knock down threes and shoot. Everything. Right. And you move the basketball, move with swiftness and stuff like that. But look, men are we've come accustomed to men being rough and physical, gladiator. Women, it shouldn't be a difference, but it kind of is,
Yeah.
And,
but even some of the styles like men, like if you poke somebody in the eye in the NBA, either league that's not gonna go, or you pull, you know what I mean, you hitting people in the head, like if that's a flagrant, you know what I mean, if you hitting somebody in the head, above the shoulders, that's a flagrant. So
to say that, Mike, the thing is with the NBA, they have fouls like that, but like you say, it's flagrant twos. You know, you get enough of them, you getting suspended, you getting fined, things like that. If there's no repercussions to that type of play in the WNBA, you know what I'm saying?
Well, they got that in the W, but the referees ain't really enforcing it as they like. They might upgrade it after review to a flagrant 1, 2 shots, but they have to really start enforcing that, man. It's crazy.
So but I think they're going to legislate that kind of stuff out the league because, like you say, Clayton, you got investment. You know what I mean? Investment in these up and coming new ball players, young ball players. Then you got that type of play. I just think they're going through the same phase that the NBA went through back. When the NBA used to play like that. You know what I mean? Like with what's the guy name? Kurt Rambis, everybody remember that foul that Kurt Rambis took.
One in the clothesline.
Yeah, they clothesline Kurt Rambis. You know what I mean? They didn't go for the ball. He just straight up clotheslined him. So that could have ended his career. And so and fights used to break out all the time. Because if somebody was a dirty player or something, you just punch him.
Yeah, that really stopped on the NBA side. I think after that Malice in the Palace, I really think that was like the turning point, so to speak. Whereas though, you know what I'm saying? Because you remember Ron Artest got suspended like for the rest of the season. You know what I'm saying? He got like a 78 game suspension. Steven Jackson, they got fined like crazy. Yeah, and I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying that's wrong, but you know what I mean? You don't want it to get to that point.
Right.
It was a full out brawl between 2 teams because this type of play is being allowed to happen.
So, and that would be for the WNBA, that'd be an ugly scene for 2 female teams to go at it like you know what I mean. That'll be a setback, I think. And I think it's something that they don't have to go through because they experienced that with the NBA. That's something that they don't really have to go through. Yeah, but yeah, man, Clay, I do want to talk about that beat down that the Aces took, man, from the Valkyries. Man, I don't know. Asia Wilson is she doing her thing, but I think their record still is they still barely above 500. I think they like what 5-4-3, 5-3, something like that. I know they
are they 5-3 or 3-5?
3
which
and
one
5.
Which one is? I can't remember. I think I heard. Are they?
Oh,
they might be above 500. They might. I'm not sure.
I think they're a little bit above 500. Let me see.
Check it out real quick.
WNBA.
Is Asia still like considered like the best player in the league? Is she still like considered like the best player?
I think Asia. All right, let me see what their record is. She running neck and neck with Nafisa Collier. I know that.
Nafisa Collier running away with it. It ain't even close right now.
They 8-0 now. Her team is 8-0.
Yeah.
The Aces are 4 wins and 3 losses.
Okay, 4-3.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so they 4-3. But Nafisa Collier, man,
she's running away with it.
She running,
yeah.
But see, people gonna say that like Asia Wilson is like the best player on that team, and they don't. So who would you consider to be the best player? Like the best player on a winning team, or the best player like the Asia Wilson carrying her team?
Well, I just think Collier is. I ain't even looking at the wins they got. I'm looking at her efficiency, her field goal percentage, the rebounding, the scoring. She's killing. She's the best thing in the league right now. Yeah. She is killing by far. Like as much as we marvel at Asia Wilson's abilities and stuff, Fisha is doing it. She is just doing it, man.
Asia MVP last year.
She won it last year. And now Fisha Collier, Fee won Defensive Player of the Year. Right now, she running for both.
Yeah. She doing it at both ends. And the thing is,
doing it at both ends.
She doing what like whatever it takes for her team to win. You know what I mean? She doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Block shots, rebounds, scoring.
She might even be leading the league in scoring. I think her average is like 24 a game. She might be leading the league in scoring.
Yeah, Nafisa Collier is and I Patrick and agree with you. Yeah, man, she Nafisa Collier is the real deal, Jack. And I mean, it's not like she snuck up on somebody. You know what I mean? She's been doing this for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, Nafisa Collier is that real.
But
deal.
she's so efficient. Now I will give credit to Minnesota. They have so much around. Like they have legitimate players. Everybody can knock down shots and stuff. So it's hard for Fee to face any double teams and things of this nature. Because if you double her, she passing out and you're going to pay for that too. So she's at least getting an honest, she's getting an honest defense against her. You know what I mean? So that's just giving her the space to do her thing, you know? Right. You got to play her honest.
Right. Yeah, you definitely got to play her honest.
Because of the team around her.
Yeah, and the coaching staff, you know what I mean? So they from the top to the bottom, their team is just, you know.
Yeah. But I like her. I like Fee. I always like Fee. And she ain't flamboyant. She ain't real flashy. She ain't mouthy. She go about her work. She compliment other players. But at the same time, she got that chip on her shoulder. She's coming for you. You know what I'm saying? She didn't appreciate losing in the finals like she did. Like she didn't appreciate that. And she was boisterous about it. She felt like the refs took the game from them. So she got a chip on her shoulder. And she putting it on motherfuckers right now.
Yeah, she going to work.
She going to work. Yeah. So
I'm looking forward though for a rematch between her and Jonquel Jones.
Jonquel went down.
For real?
Yeah, I don't know how long, but she got hurt the other day in the game. Yeah. They lost her in the game, y'all. She got carried off. I don't think she could put no weight on her leg or something. Yeah.
I hope she don't be out for long, man, because Jonquel Jones is putting in that work too.
Yeah.
I don't think she had the offensive skills that Fee have, but like Jonquel
Don't have the offensive skill that who got.
that Fee got. Like offensively, I think I would give Fee the edge over Jonquel Jones. Jonquel is more so typical of a low post player. Like I think
Well,
she can hit.
She deadly from three. She hit the mid. She can do everything too. And she can handle the ball. I'm telling you, watch Jonquel. She looked just like Durant to me when she shoot. She ain't as quick as Durant. She a little bit thicker. But I don't know, man. I think Fee probably got a little bit more better footwork. And a lot quicker. Yeah. But I don't even know. I don't know, man. You know what surprised me? Aaliyah Boston. She leading the whole league in field goal percentage.
She is. Yeah.
She grew. She grew from last year to this year. She playing outstanding basketball.
Well, you saw like over the summer, they was just showing like how she was just she slimmed down, she lost weight, she worked on her game.
Yeah.
And another thing, she is now, because of Caitlin Clark, she is getting the ball now in positions where she is comfortable and where she is able to score. You know what I mean? Like, so before Caitlin Clark got there, she had to do things that was outside of her wheelhouse, right? In order to help the team win. But now all she got to do is focus on like where she comfortable at, and so that's the thing. So what do you think, though, Clayton, about like the Fever and them, like how you think their chemistry is coming along, or how long you think it's going to be before that chemistry like really click with them?
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to put Caitlin back in the lineup because this girl, Ari McDonald, she playing her ass off. She getting them in and out of sets, the ball moving around the court real well. But I also like how they going through Aaliyah a lot. Aaliyah is, she's passing it out of her position. She's getting guys open looks too. But it's going to be interesting when Caitlin get back in because she's ball dominant. And right now they moving that ball around. So it's gonna be interesting. I don't know. That's gonna be something.
That's how it is when a player. I'm just making a comparison to the Knicks. You know, when Brunson not on the floor, the ball seems to move more. You know what I'm saying? And you're saying that's the same thing how it is with Caitlin, even though Caitlin. And the biggest thing, I think I said this to you guys, man, the biggest surprise to me about her game was her passing ability. I didn't know she was that good of a passer. You know what I'm saying? You know, while she was in college, I ain't really get to feel out her game. But I was like, wow, she's a great passer. But still, she's ball dominant. So, you know what I mean? When she come in there, the ball stops. You know what I'm saying? The ball stops. And,
so do you put her at the 2 then? If you think she's a little bit too ball dominant, then
I wouldn't. Yeah, because that's not who she is, you know. Yeah. I think you can. I thought they did a great job last year after the All-Star break, letting her do what she do, because the ball, she pushes the ball up court. She really does. She pushes pace. She gets those go ahead passes and stuff like that. And although she's ball dominant, she's also getting them girls wide open looks because so much attention comes her way. So I wouldn't take that out of her hand. I don't think that's the solution because I don't think she would be the same player.
She seemed to be a willing passer though.
Very much so.
Yeah, like a reluctant passer. Like she don't want to get the ball up. You know what I'm saying? Her being off the ball, she can be off the ball a little bit. It ain't got to be totally. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But because sometimes if she got to be out top, you know what I'm saying, to be most effective, you know what I mean, seeing everybody, seeing the whole floor like that, you probably want to, with the ball in her hands, bring it up to the front court. But if she can move off them screens like that, you know what I'm saying, and somebody else can find her, you know that wouldn't be bad from here and there. You know what I mean, here and there.
They do that at times, so you're right. They do that at times. They'll run her around screens, take all the ball at times.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's harder to blitz her that way too. It's harder to blitz her. You're right. You know what I'm saying? Because they can blitz you if you coming up as soon as you cross half court. They can blitz you, run the double team at you, get the ball out of your hand that way, stuff like that.
Yep. But it's gonna be interesting to see that, man. This girl McDonald, man, you gotta watch her, man. She killing. She hit 12 last night. She coming off the bench. She got 25 minutes off the bench.
Yeah.
Scored 20. Field goal percentage was high. Had about 5 assists, steals.
Yeah.
She was the spark plug they needed. She really was. I'm really looking at this like, what's gonna happen when Caitlin come back? Because they look like they gelling.
Yeah. So look, so Panama Queen says that Boston is underrated. I put her right there in the MVP talks as well. Y'all, what do you think about her, Boston being able to be in that conversation when we talk about MVPs?
Yeah, she playing outstanding, but I can't put her in that conversation.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, because too much of what she does relies on the point and post relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where, I don't know, like what Fee does, what Asia does, you know, even what Caitlin does, because Caitlin, she fills up the stat sheet, you know, but Aaliyah's great. It's hard because Caitlin on her team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's like having Kobe and Shaq on the team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you who you attribute that success to? Is Kobe benefiting from Shaq, or is Shaq benefiting from Kobe? You know, so almost that same type of dynamic.
Yeah.
You know, dude, man. But So before we start talking about this NBA, right?
Yeah.
I want y'all to watch this video. And I know we used to talk about
There's been a lot of talk recently from the NCAA tournament who has the best freshman year ever, and people say Cooper Flag for what he did this year, AP Player of the Year and things like that. People say Carmelo Anthony, people say Anthony Davis, and I understand those last two because they won national championships and was most outstanding player in the NCAA tournament, but nobody had a more dominant freshman year to me than Michael Beasley. Michael Beasley couldn't do anything wrong at Kansas State, man. This is a game you watching against Kansas, top 5 team in the nation. Michael Beasley gave these people 39 points and 11 rebounds, man. And this was a basic night for Michael Beasley. His first college game, he had over 30 points and had 24 rebounds. Michael Beasley was third in the nation in scoring with over 26 points per game for that year. He led the nation in rebound with over 12. He led the nation in double-doubles with 27. The man had 3 40-point games. Michael Beasley was a monster, and you couldn't do anything with him in college, man. 6'9", 6'10", 240, athletic, lefty, even though he don't do anything else left-handed but play basketball. Michael Beasley was something special. He said before the season, we're going to go to Kansas and beat Kansas. We're going to beat them at our place too. He didn't beat them in this game, but he definitely beat them at Kansas State. But Michael Beasley was different, man. The most dominant freshman I ever seen. And before people start running to my comments like, yo, what about Chris Jackson at LSU? I did not see him. I was a kid. I was probably watching the Smurfs or Gumby or something. Like, I did not see him. But I saw Michael Beasley, and he the most dominant freshman I ever seen. And there's nothing you can say that make me think otherwise, man. He was different.
All right, man. So look, Michael Beasley, what y'all think about that Michael Beasley clip, man? Michael Beasley was that dude, Jack, when he was at K-State. And so look, when you talk about who you think had the best freshman year, was it Carmelo, Michael Beasley, Kevin Durant, or Ben Simmons?
I say Melo.
You think Melo?
I say Melo. I say about the other guys, man. You know the numbers that they put up. You know what I mean? Did it affect winning? You know what I'm saying? Melo put up numbers. Melo put up 20 and 10, and they won it all. So it affected winning. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that them guys didn't have great freshman years, because they did. They all did. But it did. I mean, Ben Simmons didn't even make the tournament. You know what I'm saying? Ben Simmons didn't even make the tournament. So, you know what I mean? He didn't get LSU in the tournament. So, you know. But this is my personal opinion. I say Melo.
Yeah. What you say, Clay?
No, I was thinking that the whole time dude was talking. I was thinking about Melo.
Yeah.
I even like Chris Jackson's too.
Oh, ain't no question. Ain't no question.
My God, man.
Come on, man. Hey, I had never seen something like that, man.
I never saw anything like that.
And then, look, you can say Kenny A. when he was at Georgia Tech. Freshman season, you know, they want you to Final Four. I think that was his freshman year or the sophomore year.
It was his freshman year.
But look, so
and Mike Beasley had a great one. I mean, listen to that guy break down. I didn't even know that. So that was phenomenal. But I would even throw Cooper Flag in there.
Yeah, right. Well, he said that because he got National Player of the Year and stuff like that.
Right. But look, when Chris Jackson was at LSU, he was that dude. Even when Shaq came, it was still about Chris Jackson.
Yeah, Dale Brown told him. Dale Brown told Shaq and Stanley Roberts, no, he the man. Y'all get it off the glass. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get it off the glass. Y'all get it off the glass. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But I really dig watching Mike Beasley when he was at Kansas State.
Yeah.
And then I watched Kevin Durant. Well, he was at Texas, right?
Yeah. See, I didn't see much of that.
Yeah. Kevin Durant was at Texas. He was doing his thing down there. Ben Simmons is somebody who they thought was going to be like Mike Beasley and Kevin Durant. But Ben Simmons couldn't even, he wasn't able to do it like what they did. You know what I mean? Like what Mike and Kevin Durant did.
And that guy, Ben Simmons, man, y'all heard me talk about Ben Simmons a lot, man. I never been a fan of his, man, but the hype with him started at LSU. The hype with him started. I don't know, because he's from like Australia or something.
Yeah, that's exactly.
From like Australia. So when he came up to the States to go to school to LSU, they say a lot of teams was clamoring for him, wanting to sign him, offer him scholarship. But he wound up going to LSU. But and they talked about him a lot. When number 1 pick or number 2 pick, wherever he came, I think he was number 1 pick. And a lot of guys was, it was a lot of hype behind him. Now I didn't see him. I saw highlights of him at college, right? I saw highlights of him at college, right? Because they was really pushing him. And they were trying to make him out to be the next Magic, the next LeBron, the next big guard that handled the ball. And the more I saw him, I'm like, man, this guy's not what they say he is. Man, this guy's not close to what they say he is. Because you throw a behind the back pass don't make you Magic Johnson, even if you are 6'8", 6'9". You know what I'm saying? It's more than that. Yeah, it's more to it than that. So I never bought into that Ben Simmons right now. Defensively, Defensively, he gets after it. Defensively, he gets after it. I gotta tip my hat to him because he can play out top or he can play down on the block defensively. You know what I'm saying? So I like that about his game. Well, I did, but I only think he should be mentioned though. To be honest, I don't think he should be mentioned with Mike Beasley and KD and Melo because he didn't even make the tournament. You know what I mean? How great are you? You can't get the team to and we talk about the SEC, man. We ain't talking about the ACC. You know what I'm saying? The Big East. Big East. We ain't talking about that. We talking about the SEC. There ain't no jumping out of a basketball.
But man, I just thought that was interesting, man, because I do remember watching Mike at K-State, Kansas State, right? Yeah. But Carmelo, man, what he did at Syracuse, though, man, he was everything at Syracuse.
And he did it, when all the marbles. You know what I'm saying? He did it when the money was up. You know what I'm saying? So,
man. I was like, that was.
That's interesting though, Beasley. I didn't know that about Beasley though.
Yeah, Mike was that
he was a monster.
I didn't know he led the nation in rebounding and was second in scoring. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Mike was that deal. He was that deal, man.
Everybody knew he was one and done, boy. It's like everybody knew he was one and done, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Simple fact, when they say he's going to K-State, I'm like, oh, he ain't staying that long. I was like, maybe 2 years, he out of there. You know what I'm saying? I knew he wasn't staying long.
Mhm.
Probably had
I
him
mean,
like that. He wanted done.
people was like, they was wondering why he even chose Kansas State. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From the jump, you know, like why Kansas State? But you know,
You know,
Didn't you say yesterday had something to do with the coach?
yeah, his AU coach
Okay.
was an assistant. See, what's his name? I don't know if he started it, but he was the first I heard of doing it. Calipari.
mm-hmm.
Calipari was Milt Wagner's son.
The Wagners, yeah.
Yeah, DeJuan Wagner.
Yeah.
Wagner. Now he hired Milt Wagner as an assistant when he was at Memphis to get DeJuan Wagner to come.
With his son.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, Clayton. So Calipari, man, that dude is a recruiting genius, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where it stops. But anyway, I don't think he's that good of a coach, man. But that man, recruiting wise, man, this dude is genius. But he was the first coach that I heard that was doing it. Like I said, I don't know if he was the first or not, but he was the first coach I heard would do that. He would hire a recruit's father or a recruit's AU coach just to get the kid to come to that school, even if it was for just a year. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting how that wasn't any type of recruiting violations or anything.
And it could have been, Clayton. Who knows? You know that guy.
But you know, that's interesting. You know what I'm saying?
He's always playing with fire anyway, even going back to UMass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Going back to UMass, he was paying them guys to come to UMass. It was telling, I pay him so much.
So what? Right.
I pay him so much. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny now with this NIL now. Hey, it's cool now, and they frowned upon no more. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, man. So now later on today, we got the Thunder and the Pacers game 2.
What time is that game, Mike? What time is that game?
Sure, I'm pretty sure it's
an 8 o'clock game, probably like an 8:30 game
tonight. Yeah, ABC tonight. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's 8 o'clock. But look, who y'all like, and what y'all think is going to be the difference between last game and this game?
Yeah, I can't call it.
I think OKC going to even the series up.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing that should be the difference. Game might be tight. I don't know if OKC will run away from them, but what should be different, man. They shouldn't do. They got away. We spoke about it. They got away from their offense late in the game. I think they started getting a little tight, a little nervous, and they just put the ball in shot. You know what I mean? And like I said, it was almost like a one-on-one type thing, and the movement stopped. You know what I'm saying? Or you might have a high screen coming out. You know what I'm saying? To free them up where you can turn the corner, but they kind of really got out of their offense. I hope that don't happen this time in the tight game. I hope that don't happen this time in the tight game, man. I'm cheering for 7 good games, man. I'm cheering for that, man. I don't want this thing to be over in 4 games, man, and then we stuck with golf and tennis and no disrespect, guys. No disrespect for them guys, especially my man. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to them guys, man. But just for viewing purposes as being a fan, man, I want this thing to go 7 games, man.
Yeah, I don't think it's going 7 though.
I know you said that yesterday. Yeah, I know you said that.
I do not think it's going 7. Nope.
Hey,
and I swear I'm leaning toward Indiana. Stealing this one too.
If they get that one, I don't think it'll be 7 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Indiana get the game tonight, I don't think it'll be 7 games.
I think whatever halftime adjustments he found, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure if it don't carry over.
Yeah.
Hell of a coach. A coach, you always got to adjust to the adjustment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm not taking nothing from OKC, and I know it's a hard environment to play in. But sometimes, man, when you find something, because that second half, Indiana did their thing.
Clayton, you got the propensity to call series real quick, though.
Who?
You got the propensity to be calling series over real quick, man.
I do. I mean, throwing it out there. I don't know. That's just, you know.
None of us do. You know what I'm saying? None of us do,
Yeah. I'm just throwing it out. It's a feeling. That don't mean I'm right, you know.
Just thinking because there's so much talent and these dudes mirror each other so much, both teams. I'm thinking that's why I was thinking that it was going to go both. It was going to go back and forth.
Yeah.
I think that I do think though that if OKC is in the same situation as they was the last game, where they coming down a stretch with a lead, I think they'll manage that situation differently. You know, so that's why I think that OKC. I think they're gonna get this game too. Plus, I think OKC know that if they go down, they go down 2-0 against against this team, these Pacer teams, man. Yeah.
Then you got to go to Indiana. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to go to Indiana.
And Tom, I thought the last series between the Knicks and I thought that was going 7 and it didn't. So I was out in front. I was like, yeah, that's going to go 7. And it didn't. So, you know, I don't know. But I just got this feeling like this one's not going to go 7. Because I know it's exciting for basketball fans and peers, and it's great basketball. I just don't think the country is that vested in it. You know, the rest of the nation. I don't think
they say the ratings for game 1 was down. I think game 2, because Mike, you know, you got people, Mike, and OKC, you know, you got people that buy into them small markets. Oh man, they ain't gonna be good ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, the casual fan that'll tune into that. You know what I'm saying? We gonna tune in because we basketball fans. You know what I'm saying? We watching, we fans of the game. But a lot of people buy into that small market. Oh man, don't nobody want to see no OKC. Don't nobody want to see no Indiana. No matter how well the teams are playing, they just won't tune in. So I think this might be up this game because you had such a bomb burner on game 1.
Yeah.
So
it was enough highlights of that first game. They saw how it came down to the stretch. It might bring in a few more viewers.
Right.
But I just don't think it's enough interest. I don't think it's going to drag out to 7.
And by then, the Sunday night too, people, you know, more so in the house, they home Sunday night. They probably
they'll watch tonight. Yeah.
Let me ask y'all this: do you think before the Golden State Warriors, before they started winning, was that considered a large market team or a small market team? Golden State.
I always consider them small markets.
I thought so too.
I don't consider San Francisco small. They in California.
Well,
I don't see that as a small market. Me personally,
you got A market, B market. I thought they was like more so like a B market team, like a mid-sized.
Even remember when Burn Davis and them, and they made that run. Remember that playoff season? They made that run. Them Steven Jackson and all them. I still thought they was. I mean, to me, they was like a small market team before they started winning. Maybe. So of course they not that now. You know what I mean? Of course they're that now. But I thought before they started winning.
Well, and I think they not that now is because they was winning. Like what we were saying earlier. Like so, if either one of these teams, the Pacers or OKC, start up and say like they turn into like a dynasty or something like that, then they'll start to draw that interest or more interest.
But what's the metric for determining the market? Ain't it about television coverage and networks and things like that?
Yes.
That's why I say I didn't necessarily see Golden State as that, because that's like saying the 49ers is a small market. San Francisco is small. I don't see that like that.
No. The difference, 49ers, they've been perennial winners. So you wouldn't, you wouldn't necessarily say 49ers
right
across football. Yeah. But across Golden State, just look back when remember when they had Monte Ellis and Antoine Jameson. You wasn't seeing a lot of their games on national TV.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't have a national broadcast. You know what I mean? It was almost like a local type thing, West Coast game type thing. We wasn't seeing a lot of them on Christmas. You know what I'm saying? You know how they do the Christmas thing, even though that wasn't big back then. You know what I'm saying?
But does that make them small market? Because before the Bulls got Mike and before they was good, they wasn't on TV. But Chicago is a big market.
It is. Yeah, Chicago, New York.
New York.
Yeah.
See, and the fact that Golden State, that's San Francisco, and that's out in California. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I just put them on the same, like with the Spurs. You know what I mean?
With the Spurs.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just talking.
No, but that's fair. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Because before San Antonio started winning all the championships, you know what I mean? You go back, you know what I mean, when Iceman and stuff was there, I really wouldn't consider them a big market team back then.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
Getting back to I want y'all to address this comment that Michael Sherhall said Carrington needs to be removed from the league, right? Do y'all feel that strongly about like her play that she need to be removed from the league?
Well, I can't say that. Not at this point. I definitely think it needs to be policed. But I can't. Yeah, I don't know about that.
And let me ask y'all, because y'all see a lot more WNBA than I do. Do you think if some of them fouls would have led to a more severe injury to the opposing player, would he been suspended? Fined? Would the penalty be a lot more severe than what it has been up to this point?
Yeah. So you make a good point. Mm-hmm. So I think when you start racking up suspensions, you start getting suspended. Then it's your third suspension. This is when you start looking at a player like, we need to remove them from the league. But to me, it's got to at least get to that kind of stuff. And it's not yet. You know what I mean? So,
I don't think she should be removed from the league right now. Yeah. Either because I think, like Clayton said, it can be policed and they can put penalties in place where as though she know that that's she got to correct that. You know what I mean? Like that's just not something that we're going to allow you to do.
A lot of things is we used that Kurt Rambis when he got clothesline back in the 80s. He jumped back up, wanted to fight. Now, let's just say some of these fouls that she been doing that's dirty. What if that player stayed down on the court? Had to be helped off and stuff. So it's like the consequence of the foul is more severe. I think you see more severe penalty with her. You understand? But if they jump right back up and they go to the free throw line, or it's like, you know what I'm saying, it don't affect me. It looked like it wasn't as bad as we might think because the player's back up. You know what I'm saying? She had to go to the sideline and had to get carted off. So maybe the foul wasn't as hard as we think. You know what I'm saying?
And I can understand Michael's concern to some degree because you're afraid it might lead to some bad injury, but he has to consider teams' financial obligations, how teams are structured. That's a contract too. So to just kick them out the league, it's more ramifications that come with that. You can't just make that knee-jerk reaction, No,
I agree. And like you said, it got to be some form of progressive discipline.
Yeah, it's got to be.
You can't just go, oh, man, you out. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because it's financial things in place when it comes to that too, Then
they got a union as well that'll push.
You got the union. Right.
Yeah, so I do think though that they eventually they're going to legislate those kind of fouls out.
They probably will. They probably will. Yeah.
So just like in football, they gave football players an opportunity to adjust to the new rules and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, so all right, at the beginning of the season, they let you know like you can't you can't horse collar no more, right?
Yeah.
So when you continuously horse collar people and you be like, I don't care, I'm gonna play the fines. So all right, now if now it's beyond the fines. It's not even about the fines. Now it's about your career. And so who was a player that he kept hitting people and they kept calling it targeting, but they was talking about putting him out the league. What was this? Was it the guy from Cincinnati? Who was the guy from Cincinnati name?
Perfect.
Yeah. He ain't care.
Ultimately, he was out the league, and I think he had some years left. Actually, you know what I mean? Because he went to the Raiders. After he left, he went to the Raiders for a season or two, and then boom, he gone. You know what I'm saying? And I think he just couldn't or wouldn't adapt. You know what I mean? He was couldn't or wouldn't adapt. So there's something that we can't put up with.
Right.
I will say this: Carrington is on a new team with the Wings.
Right.
Most of these players that signed with new teams, they only did 1 year deal. because the CBA is coming up. So with that, Kennedy Carter was considered a problem player, you know, psychologically and stuff. And she was a free agent, or she got waived or whatever, and no team picked her up. Right. Carrington, if she don't be careful, she can find herself in that position at the end of this year. Nobody wanting to give her another contract. That might be a way.
And I'm about to say that that's her way. That'll be her way out. You know what I'm saying? She's not getting kicked out. So you know what I mean? It's not like kicking out. It's like nobody's offering a contract. You're right, though, Clay. You're right.
So you need to be careful with that.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know how much truth it was to this though, but they was talking about bringing Carter in when Caitlin Clark went down.
Her name got floated around, but I know without a shadow of a doubt, Indiana wasn't nowhere near considering that.
Can you imagine, man, the kind of that would have definitely been bigger than Dennis Rodman going to Chicago.
Yeah.
Remember, Scottie Pippen did not like. They ain't like Dennis Rodman at all. And so can you imagine Kennedy Carter
winning trumps all? They know bringing Dennis in. You know, they was bitter rivals. Like, look, Dennis coming, man. He gonna help us win. You know what I'm saying? Right. And you got guys like Mike, man. They want to win, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, look, man, Scotty, even if y'all got to scrap up in the locker room, you know what I'm saying? He coming. You know what I'm saying? He coming, man. You know, he coming.
The one thing about Rodman, though, is that to me, he wasn't a person that could blow up a team. So as much as he was scrappy, he wasn't dirty. He was scrappy, he would hustle, and he would agitate other players, other team. But his team, they loved him.
He wasn't no locker room cancer.
He wasn't no locker room cancer.
Not at all.
Now, with this girl, Kennedy Carter, you know, she may be a locker room cancer because she was on the team before the Sky, and they had to let her go because of disciplinary reasons and stuff like that. She's a loose cannon. She's a loose cannon. I don't even know if she would have fit with Indiana. And plus, Indiana, they were very vocal to their management when they was bringing in players, like protect our locker room. That was their number one priority, to protect our locker room.
It's important.
So,
it's important.
I don't think they would have ever brought Kennedy Carter. Trust me, the girl bad though. If she could just get her head right, she is bad, man. But
I just think, that situation did kind of match like the Bulls. Only thing is, like, because Michael Jordan was all for bringing Dennis Rodman to the. But see, in this situation, Michael Jordan on a fever is Caitlin Clark.
That's right.
If she's not with it,
that's right.
And that's different. Like, it's not like like Kennedy Carter didn't foul Aaliyah Boston.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So if she fouled Aaliyah Boston and then Caitlin Clark say, well, all right, that's water under the bridge. We can use her. You know what I mean? So we can get past that.
It's different. You're right. If the team star is okay with it, it can happen. You know what I'm saying? But if the star ain't with it, nah, it ain't gonna happen.
That's crazy.
I didn't believe it though when they said that, you know, that this Kennedy was going there, but I just thought about that Bulls and Jordan situation and Rodman and with what's the guy named Pippen.
Switching gears real quick, fellas. I read this quote, Dominique Wilkins. It was a picture of Dominique Wilkins and his son. His son graduated high school. Man, his son got to be almost 7 feet tall, man. Because Dominique 6'7", 6'8", man. His son at least had about 3-4 inches on him, man. Dominique Wilkins.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, his son is tall. But Dominique said Wemby is the modern day version of Ralph Sampson.
Yeah.
He said Wemby is the modern day version. He said Ralph Sampson could do all the stuff Wemby could do. Back in the you know what I'm saying?
To be honest, I thought Ralph Sampson, in my opinion, was more talented than Wemby.
I wouldn't disagree.
I thought he was. You disagree, Clay?
Why?
I don't see that, but I love Ralph had talent. Y'all got to convince me.
Man,
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Ralph,
go ahead.
At Virginia, when Ralph Sampson was at Virginia, Ralph Sampson was primarily low post ball player. He could play with his back to the basket, right? And also Ralph Sampson, from time to time, he'd turn around and face you up. But what Ralph Sampson didn't do until he got to the NBA, put that ball on the floor. And like when he was at the Rockets, and you saw the way Ralph Sampson handled that ball from time to time and fill that lane. Ralph Sampson was an athlete, man. He was a straight athlete.
I agree with that. Huh?
I remember him in some of the All-Star games.
Yeah.
Just facing up between the legs, spin move, shooting something off the glass. But see, that was frowned upon them because, oh man, he's 7'4", get down in the post and bang. You know what I'm saying? But what's the name said? A lot of people say this, but Dominique said if he wouldn't have got hurt, like if his knees wouldn't have went out, man, he said Ralph would have went down as an all-time great, man. And I'm not even disagreeing with that. I ain't even disagreeing with that.
But is it like Wemby? I mean, have you really watched Wemby?
I don't know.
Wemby almost looked like a god with it. I mean, his handle is impeccable.
But see, the thing about it is, with Ralph, because that's something we wasn't used to seeing from a guy that you know what I'm saying, that can handle the ball like that, run the floor like that, and all that. It was like, man, he should be. It was almost like say it was frowned upon. I think Ralph Sampson natural position. Now y'all correct me if y'all don't agree. I think Ralph Sampson natural position was a 3. That was his natural position, a 3 in the NBA. I'm talking about his natural position was a 3. He could, man, just imagine if he would play with a Magic Johnson. Just imagine if he played with an Isaiah Thomas. Just imagine if he played with a prototypical point guard that could get him the ball on the move. You know what I'm saying? Ralph would run the floor like a deer, man. Ralph would get out there filling lanes, and he finishing. You know what I'm saying? He finishing, man.
Let me say this. His problem, his issue wasn't the players like the guard that he played with, the prototypical. His issue was the era that he played in. So that's what determined why he was put at the 4 or the 5 and not the 3. Now he could, if he played in today's NBA, he could be out there, showcasing his skills like what Wemby do. See, Wemby get the opportunity to showcase his skills because of the era. Like if back in the day, if Wemby had to play with Magic and Bird and all them dudes, we don't need to see his handle. I wouldn't even know he had a handle.
Yeah, he would. You're right. He would be handcuffed because they wouldn't allow him to do it. They wouldn't allow him to do it. Yep.
I got a question for you guys. Ralph Sampson can handle and everything for his size, but could he handle the ball better than guards in the league?
I would say no, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. Yeah,
when you 7 feet tall, you bringing the ball up so high off the floor. That's why Magic Johnson had a tough time dribbling against somebody like Muggsy. Muggsy 5'3". Magic get the ball, hold it over his head, and pass it over. You know what I mean? That's how you beat Michael Jordan. Muggsy stole the ball from Michael Jordan. But it's.
But all right. So do you think Ralph could shoot the 3 at 35 to 40% field goal percentage?
I think if he was given the opportunity, I don't know if it would be that high, but I think if he was given the opportunity, he definitely could shoot it. But that's one thing I would give Wemby over Ralph, his range on his jump shot. I would give him that over Ralph. You know what I'm saying?
And I think it's guards in the league that Wemby handle the ball better.
Yeah.
This guy's a freak, man. He's a freak.
He definitely
I'm giving Ralph love, especially for his time. He was ahead of his time. Yeah. But I'm looking at this kid, Wemby, man. It's like somebody shooting a jump shot. He can can block it. He gets up. His span, his wingspan.
And see, that's what I say, man. I say, at least early in his career, he would make more of a mark on the defensive side of the ball than he does on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Like he can affect shots, he can rebound, block shots, all that type of stuff, man. You know what I mean? And I thought maybe his first couple years in the league, he would be more advanced defensively than he is offensively. Because, you know, I think offensively, he still got to find his footing, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And even doing that, finding his footing, he still averaging, 18 points a game, something like that. Yeah, so
I see him take people off the dribble, go left, get downhill, finish around the basket, either hand, dunk.
With 2 dribbles. You know what I mean?
Come on, man.
He's so long, man. You get 1-2 dribble. Fast,
But he'll give you a move.
Yeah.
He'll give you a move with it.
Yeah.
I like Wemby.
Yeah, I think it's man.
I feel Ralph, man. I think Ralph, if you didn't see him, you know what I'm saying? I think people really don't know how exceptional he was, man.
He was exceptional.
Yeah.
My stepdad didn't like him though.
Ain't like Ralph.
My stepdad from that era, 7-footer. Yeah. He ain't cute. He ain't got no business handling the ball. He ain't got no business. He thought he was soft.
Yeah.
But I thought Ralph was exceptional.
And that's the point, man. Mike was saying he wasn't even allowed to show his skill set. You know what I'm saying? Back then, you know, and that was the typical mindset back then. Man, you that big, man. Get your butt on the block and dunk and rebound or whatever.
Yeah. So that was the ain't like him.
Yeah. Hey, let me I want y'all to address this statement by Dixie Forbes, right? And she says, AR is a young lady that lost her focus. I don't hate AR. I recognize that she is a very immature and the veterans should have tried to help her. I blame them for her hubris, right? And so,
who is AR?
I'm thinking Angel Reese.
I'm thinking Angel Reese.
Oh, Angel Reese. I got you.
So when you talk about like, and I did hear somebody else say something about like her focus, like some of the things that she was doing when she first hit the league, like she lost her focus as far as like her shot selection and stuff like that. Like she got, you know, like caught in like a rut or something like that as far as her game. Mm-hmm. But then that goes to like when you had Teresa Witherspoon was there, right? Mm-hmm. Even though Angel Reese was a superstar coming onto the team, it's still got to be like a certain situation where you got to be able to coach these young ladies and then put her in a position where as though she going to be a position to win and a position that's going to help the team. Like you just can't. Some of the stuff, and I think that's what kind of got Teresa Witherspoon fired because she allowed Angel Reese to dictate, like what should be going on the team when she should have just coached Angel Reese, and then that would have been more beneficial to her and Angel Reese.
Mm-hmm. Mike, you make a very good point, man, and the example that I can recall that speaks to that. And I'm sure y'all can remember. Remember, Angel Reese had that double streak going. They had a double streak going, and the team was losing by double figures. But Angel Reese hadn't gotten her double, and she inserted Angel Reese back in the game just to get her stats, just to keep them. And I think, man, maybe I don't know, but maybe I mean, she might have kind of lost the locker room in a sense. By doing that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because anytime you have a situation where a dude like Saquon Barkley is in a position to break a record, and he's sitting on the bench, and the coaches are telling, they was like, you can go in, and you know what I mean, and he recognized himself that wasn't going to be beneficial to the team. You sure you don't want this record? No, I'm good. And so, and that's what, you know what I mean? That just tells me that like previously he was exposed to a coach or coaches that knew that, you know what I mean? Like, it's more so about the team that you're going to get your records. You're going to play long enough. Everybody knows that you are that dude, you that woman, you know what I mean? Like put the team first sometime, and so that's what I think Angel Reese was missing with the coach Witherspoon last year.
And that young lady, that's the perfect word for Angel Reese, the immaturity. Mm-hmm. Because last year, New York Liberty they all crowded her to make sure she didn't get that double on her.
Really?
She pouted. She snatched her shirt. She was furious about that. But they was like, because they brought her back in to do that.
Yeah.
And New York Liberty's like, oh, hell no. You ain't doing that shit on us.
Yeah.
And they just crowded up. And then at the end, at the last point, the guard just saw there was no need, keep trying to force it in, so they ignored her. And she got mad at her team.
Yeah.
Not forcing her the ball, like.
Yeah. So she
that's
got to grow, she got to mature and everything.
Yeah,
but
that's already a me mentality. You know what I'm saying?
It's me mentality.
Yeah, me mentality. Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I think a lot of them was bought into that trying to push Angel over the top over Caitlin, because Teaspoon, she's a vet, African American. I think a lot of them took that personal, so it just enabled her. You know what I mean? It's like, and then people in the media scared to say something like, whenever you talk about Caitlin, if you black, you had to bring her name up. All that stuff, and it shouldn't be that way. It's just speak free.
That's why I always said that. Go ahead, Clay.
Real quick. Now, Jason Whitlock was talking all that junk about Don Staley and the Montgomery girl. They brought him in to try to
hate on Caitlin.
Yeah, to hate on Caitlin. So yesterday during the broadcast, before the game started, they asked Don Staley what she gonna be focused on. She said, "I'm gonna be focused on Caitlin Clark as the assistant coach." She said she must watch TV, and I'm sure she's gonna be like, get the ball to her. But you know what I'm saying? But totally not what Jason was saying. I think a lot of these women are trying to, get on these platforms to try to rewrite that narrative a little bit, Yeah. I thought that was interesting, because he was so out front. This is what they're gonna do to her, this, that, and that. But I don't think that's the agenda.
Yeah, at least not. Yeah. Because
Don Staley don't have no reason to.
I'm going to say the same thing. Like, what would it benefit Don Stanley to downgrade Caitlin Clark, telling people she's not good, and you can see that she's good. You know what I mean? So it don't benefit her to do that. You got to be honest about what you're seeing out there.
Yeah, that don't do nothing but hurt her brain.
Exactly. Yeah. It mess with her credibility.
That's true. It messed with her credibility as a coach,
out there burning the league up, and then you're gonna tell people she trash.
Yeah,
that's on you.
Right.
Yeah. And so And so Rick said the same thing. So Cheryl Swoops did it. And see, the thing about Cheryl Swoops, though, I like Cheryl Swoops, but like I said, you got to be honest about what you're seeing out there. You don't have to, even if you don't like her or you got something. Why? Now people, if you say something, now your credibility is messed up. You know what I mean? You got to be able to at least be able to.
She seems to be quiet lately, though. I haven't really heard much from her lately.
They took the mic from her. She lost her job announcing games.
Really?
And it's important. You got to be credible. Like, if you're gonna do this play-by-play and stuff, you can't have a biased approach to it.
When you criticize, you got to be critical. I mean, you got to be credible and stand with your criticism. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, but I didn't know that. I didn't know she lost the job. I didn't know that. I didn't know it.
I mean, she's still doing a podcast and stuff. You might find on Gil's Arena. You might find her doing this other podcast. But that play-by-play, they replaced her.
Because they felt like she couldn't help herself. You know what I mean? Like she
did seem like that. It did seem like that, though. Like she couldn't even help herself, man. She was. It was like, okay, you know what I mean. And some of it didn't even come. It seemed like it wasn't basketball critique.
It wasn't basketball.
It seemed like it was more personal. You know what I'm saying?
And in this last situation, this was hilarious to me. She on Gil's show. The whole Caitlin Fallon Angel Hard, right? And then the whole all that. But she goes on Gil saying, my thing is, if she fouled her hard, don't walk away from it.
Oh, yeah.
Stand there and, so in other words, don't
and
get into the conversation. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
come on, what are we talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
What are we talking about?
swing on it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
If you're going to do it, don't run.
Right. Yeah,
Come on, man. That's crazy. So, yeah, Cheryl couldn't help herself. God bless her, though.
Right.
She was a bad one. She was a bad one, though.
No question. Ain't no question. Right.
I hate to see her reputation being tarnished by this silly stuff when she was such a great basketball player.
I know, man. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
You wish they wouldn't resort to stuff like that, man. You know what I'm saying? You wish they wouldn't resort to things like that, but
man.
Yeah.
That's one thing, though, man. We holding on to a lot of stuff, man, in our community. We hold on to a lot of stuff, and it's hard to let go.
I think people don't like. It's almost like life. In life, is just like a sport. Like you got to be able to make in-game adjustments. Yep. You know what I mean? People get that carpal vision or that one-track mind, and like sometimes, you gotta switch up sometimes. You can't gotta make in-game adjustments, or I don't know. I don't know what she was.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what about you ain't say nothing about Aaron Rodgers, man, and the Steelers?
Man, that was by design, man. I was kind of hoping we could get through the segment without talking about I don't think, man. I'm really surprised, man. I really wanted the Steelers to get Cousins. I wanted them to get Kirk Cousins, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but that Aaron Rodgers thing, he signed for a 1-year deal for $13 million, man. I didn't like the fact that they was waiting on him. You know what I'm saying, to make a decision and things like that. And I really don't think Aaron Rodgers changed the trajectory of the team. He's not going to push it over. The Steelers will still be a fringe playoff team, wild card maybe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't win the division. I still think the Ravens going to win the division or whatnot. So, yeah, man, they still a wild card team. They still win 9-10 games. And then, an early exit in the playoffs. Him coming in don't really change, you know what I'm saying, the trajectory. He don't push the Steelers over the top. That's what I'm basically trying to say.
Yeah.
And, it was just, man, just how the whole thing, they allow Aaron Rodgers to string them along. At least that's how I looked at it. They allow Aaron Rodgers to string them along and not make any other moves, as far as the quarterback position. They got Murder Mace back, Mace Rudolph. They got him back, but yeah, I don't see. I
don't think he strung them along. Yeah. I think that was in the works all along. The reason they didn't draft anybody. I really think they've been had them. They just let it play out this way. I don't think the Steelers will put. They're too good of an organization, to put themselves behind the 8 ball like that. So I just think that's just how they did it. They didn't make no announcement. They probably been decided on something, and then they made that announcement. But I will say that you need to show up TJ Watt, because TJ Watt want an extension.
Yeah,
and he makes that team go.
You give it to him, Clay. You
got to.
You give it to him, man.
You have to. Yep.
They bought Metcalf in, which I think was a solid. Solid time. Yeah, I think they can bring him in. You definitely need somebody to get him the ball.
Yes.
And the way I think happened, they wanted Fields wanted to go because he wasn't happy with the offensive coordinator. I can't think his name. Used to be the coach.
With
the offense.
I know his name.
Yeah. Arthur, something like that.
Arthur. Arthur. Yeah.
He wasn't happy with the offense, and they didn't give him the freedom that they gave Russ to audible, change plays, things like that. You understand? Now Russ had the cachet and the resume to do that, but the dude Arthur still didn't like him. See, he still didn't like him audible out of the plays that he called.
Oh, wow.
And Russ, he's able to do it, Super Bowl winning quarterback thing. But Fields didn't have that. So he didn't have that same type you know what I'm saying, a wiggle room to do things. So feels like, man, I'm out of here, man. You know, the offense that they run and they won't even let me. And Fields didn't play bad in the offense, but you could tell when he was under center before Russ came in, it was real
conservative.
Right, that's it. That's the word. It was real conservative. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was real conservative.
I think Justin Fields was scared to let that ball go in some situations too. And Pickens wasn't happy with Fields.
No, I agree with both.
Let that ball go and let the receiver have a chance.
I agree with both of them statements, but I also think that Justin Fields was being told, don't take risks.
Don't take risks.
Over. You know what I'm saying? I think he was being coached that way, so he wouldn't throw a 50-50 ball up because it might be turned into a pick or something like that. When Russ like, no, I'm throwing. You know what I'm saying? Russ like, no, if it's a pick, it's a pick. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But now both of them guys gone. So, you know what I mean? Aaron Rodgers dead. So, man, we're going to see. We're going to see.
I will say last year, that was his first year coming off Achilles, and he 40-something. So, but this second year now, I think he'll be a lot more healthier. I wouldn't be surprised, man, if they have a great season or a good season.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't. No.
I don't never count Coach T out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you already got Mike Tom. And however way you feel about Aaron Rodgers, he can still spin that ball.
Yeah.
Now, about that.
No doubt.
I don't even think it's not even his talent that I question. Or, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
The attitude.
Yeah, right. That's it, Clayton. You know what I mean? And you know, if something go wrong, he never take accountability for it. Oh, man, he should have ran the wrong route. He ain't recognized the hot read. You know what I mean? It's always somebody else not doing something. It's never him. You know what I mean?
This is the good thing about the Steelers. They in a market where the media is not like New York, right? And second of all, there's one voice speaking for Pittsburgh, and that's Mike Tom. At the end of the game, they ain't running the Aaron Rodgers necessarily for no statement on the team. I mean, they might interview him and stuff, but Mike T is the voice for that team.
Oh, he's the unquestioned leader. Yeah, he's the unquestioned leader.
He's the unquestioned leader. So I don't got Aaron Rodgers being out in front,
right,
doing all that. Not on Mike Tomlin's team.
And I think the respect that he has for Coach T, he wouldn't do that anyway. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't do that anyway.
Yeah.
So all right, let me say, oh, East Side Legend. Yeah, welcome back. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for the, And let me see what Panama said. She said
East Side Legend. Is that Baltimore East Side or somewhere else? We gotta know, bro.
Yeah. Let me see. Panama Queen said, gentlemen, do y'all think Shador make the 53-man roster? I definitely think.
I do. Yeah.
I think by at least by the middle of the season, or maybe sooner, I think he probably gonna be starting. You don't think he's gonna start, Clayton?
I mean, if Joe get hurt.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I don't think Joe can finish a season. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Flacco can finish a season.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair, but
I don't think he got a 17-game season in him. You know what I'm saying?
You don't?
No, I don't.
They got to keep him clean, though.
That's true. You got to keep him upright. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, I think Joe can give you a solid 2 months. I think he might get you through 10 games or so. You know what I'm saying? But finishing the whole season, man, I just don't think Joe got that in him no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know how strong is that offensive line, though.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure.
But I know he's got a long leash with Stefanski because 2 years ago he was playing with him and they went on a run.
Yeah.
So he's got a long leash and he's a veteran. He's been there. So, you're going to tolerate some of those interceptions and mistakes with Joe because he also can win you a game with that arm. So,
But back to Shador, though, I never really doubted Shador Sanders, like his ability to play at this level. I don't doubt that. I just thought it was just some other political stuff that was going on.
I got to see it because I'm still not certain.
You don't think so?
I'm not certain. I'm not certain.
Yeah.
I think he can play. I think he can play in the league. I never thought he was a first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I never thought he was a first-round pick, but
he
definitely not. I thought he definitely better than the fifth-round pick, though. But I think he can play. The thing about it is, man, and they talk about his completion percentage. You know, and, a guy on one of them sports stations I was listening to going to work, he was saying his completion percentage was high because he threw quick slants and bubble screens all the time, right?
Okay.
Now I saw a few of Colorado games. I ain't see all of them, and I was like, because they say he really didn't push the ball downfield like that. You know what I'm saying? He really ain't pushed the ball downfield like. And then he was coached to take a sack rather than throw it incompletion. And they say that's what kept his percentage rate high. Now, y'all chime in. What y'all think about that? What y'all think about that?
Man, I don't know. All right, I would have like the sack. Like when you talk about taking sacks instead of completions, then you talk about like that's a beating. You know what I mean? So you telling somebody to take a beating rather than getting rid of the ball. You know, like so. I don't, like at any level, I think it's hard to survive like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know about that part of it.
The sack part is true, but I don't know if he was taught that. But he definitely took sacks instead of throwing the ball away because of his completion percentage.
Right.
I definitely know that. He pushed the ball downfield, but a lot of his downfield completions is because he had Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter would just go get the ball.
Yes.
I've seen him just throw it up in double and triple coverage.
Yes, sir.
Travis Hunter go up and get the ball.
That's
so
right.
it's going to be interesting to see him without Travis, without a guy like that. That can actually go get the ball. You know, will he still?
They got in Cleveland? Does he have a guy like that in Cleveland? Who they receivers?
Yeah, they lost Amari Cooper.
I don't know who the receivers are. But no, point though, Clay. You make a good point. When you got an athlete like Travis Hunter, man, that can go out there and make plays, man. You throw them balls up there. You throw them balls up there, and he make a play on it. You know what I'm saying?
And that tendency to hold the ball, he's gonna have to break that tendency.
And see, that's why I was saying that because in the NFL, you are protected. You know what I'm saying? So you get rid of the ball, it's almost hands off. If you're a quarterback, you ain't got that ball. You know, dude can't take a step and hit you. You know what I'm saying? So get the ball out of there. You got to get the ball out of there on time, too. That's a big thing, too. You got to get the ball out on time.
The thing is, he's not a what is known as a mobile quarterback, too. So if you hold a ball and then you're not advancing the ball, then you're hurting the team.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not like you Lamar. You gonna hold a ball, then at the last second you're gonna go get him 5 yards.
Yeah, right.
You know, and they said now I haven't seen a lot of tape of his. They say he pats the ball. I think a lot of quarterbacks do, but they say he pats the ball before his release, and they say that's gonna give them D-backs time to adjust,
jump the route,
right? Because they're gonna say it's coming out now because he just passed. You know what I'm saying? So
that shows up on film quick.
They say there's a lot of nuances. You know what I'm saying? That they say he can get coached up out of that, and I agree. He can get coached out of that, and I agree. But you know, but like
I think Kenny Pickett, just because Kevin Stefanski is, I think his job might be a little in question. They done had loaded rosters, and they've been falling short. Make it to the playoffs, falling short. So I don't know if Kevin Stefanski is going to go with Kenny Pickett if he's still on the roster. If Joe get hurt, Kenny Pickett, because he's still got some experience in the league. I don't know if he goes straight to Shador. You know.
So they drafted 2 quarterbacks, right?
Yep.
Now somebody said on one of them shows, I can't think his name. Y'all know him if I said his name though. He said Joe is going to be the odd man out.
Yeah, Joe gonna start.
Yeah.
Watson gonna be gone. Watson, they trying to move off Watson. Watson gonna be gone, and that other quarterback they drafted gonna be gone.
Yeah, now that's what they weren't even talking about Deshaun. They were just talking about the 2 that they drafted, Shador and the other guy, Kenny Pickett and Flacco. They said out of all 4 of them, Flacco gonna be the odd man out.
No,
and you thinking Shador was gonna start. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like, well. I think that would be interesting. You know what I'm saying? That would
that's his opinion. Yeah, that's his opinion. But one thing I know for sure is Stefanski and Joe got some success, and they got a track record together. So, and he knows the system.
Let me ask y'all this: the AFC North, right?
Yeah.
Who y'all think? Who? How y'all think? Like, what is it going to be like? Who do y'all think going to be the top of the AFC North?
I think the Ravens going to win the division.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Ravens going to win the division. I think Cincy and Steelers going to battle out for the second spot. You know what I mean? And I think Cleveland going to be at the bottom.
At the bottom.
At the bottom, yeah.
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 I think Cincinnati bounces back this year.
The thing about Cincy, man, they spent all that money on offense, but the defensive guy, they talking about they're not going to pay him. And that's why they struggle the most.
Yeah.
So I guess they like, well, you know what I mean, Burrow, you got to go up there and score 28, 30, 32 points a game. You just got to do that.
And he's another one, though. Burrows is another one. Like, can they keep him clean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, because he been injured in the past.
Yeah, he take a beating. You know what I'm saying? He take a beating, right? So that's another, you know what I mean, thing. Like you said, if they keep him clean and the weapons that they have, oh man,
I think they have a bounce. These last few years they've been starting slow. I think they bounce back this year. I really do.
That would
you talk about a team that went to the Super Bowl and then the next year went to the AFC Championship game. I think they have a bounce back season.
Yeah, they could. They got to stop starting so slow, man. You know what I mean? They got to stop, man.
Yeah.
They got to stop.
And so, what do y'all attribute those slow starts to, though? Is that coaching or lack of focus? What's going on with the slow starts? Is it the way the schedule is set up?
No, I think. Well, one year, not last year. I think Joe Burrow started gingy. He wasn't fully healthy. Mm-hmm. Didn't that happen?
One of them years, and what was his wrist or something like that?
Yeah, it was something like that. So it was injury and
some freak. Yeah. Then one of them years, one of the receivers was hurt early on too.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, man. But
I don't know, Mike. That's a great question because I'm not. You ain't in the training camp, but at some point you do have to look at coaching and how well he's preparing them, getting them ready for the opening part of the season. So
that's true.
I don't know. But I think they have they flying under the radar. Joe Burrow, one of the best quarterbacks out there, and Jamar Chase is just out of his work. They flying under the radar. Everybody got the Ravens winning the division. They the talk of the AFC North, and you got Buffaloes. You know, I think Cincinnati have a bounce back year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
if they did.
Yeah, because they're gonna score. They're gonna score.
Hey, what's the name? Cut. Stephon Diggs, did he get cut by
the Patriots?
No, did they cut him?
No, I don't think so.
No, not yet.
Yeah, I know he had an issue.
Not yet.
He said not yet. Yeah, man. Cause I'm like, wait a minute, man.
Something about on a boat or something with Cardi B or something.
He was out there. I don't think they making a bigger deal about nothing, man. I don't think that's no big deal, man. He ain't doing it illegal, man. You know, some guys like to hang out and, you know what I mean, party, have a good time, man, during the off season, man. It's no big deal.
They said he was on a boat, and what they was questioning is he pulled out a baggie, a little plastic baggie with a pink substance in it.
With pink substance.
So,
I ain't know that part.
Yeah. So that was like, that's not a good look. You know, what is this substance in that baggie? So that wasn't a good look.
They got Mike Rabel up there, and they say he trying to bring that Patriot way back into the fold, where Gerard Mayo didn't or failed or not his. You know, it was a complete failure, but they think Mike Rabel would be better for that job, and by him being a former player there, even Gerard Mayo was as well.
Yeah.
You know, Mike Rabel had prior coaching experience down Tennessee, even though he was horrible. You know,
But I thought he had a good year. I thought he had a couple good years there.
I think he had one good year, but he was still. I just want to say horrible. So let me ride with that, Clint. Let me ride.
Okay. Go ahead, ride with it, bro. Ride with it.
Hey man, what's good?
They did knock the Ravens out.
Hey, what's good, fellas? What's good?
Yeah.
Hey man,
what's good, everybody?
What's up, man?
Hey, nothing much, man. On my way to my second golf tournament, man. I just thought I had to chime in real quick with you guys. check on you guys, make sure you guys are doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying?
We holding on around here. Yeah.
Hey, I caught the conversation when y'all was talking about Sador and everything.
Right.
Hey, did y'all hear the most surprising thing about the whole situation is? Did y'all hear what's going on with Travis?
No.
Talk to him.
Oh, man, he had a terrible training camp right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man.
I ain't know that.
They said he's not huh?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they said he's not what everybody's saying that he was in college, man. He's getting these bad looks so far.
At the receiver position?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it's route running.
I did hear that. I heard
that too.
It need to be polished up.
I heard that too.
I did hear that. Yeah.
So look, man, let me ask you this: do you think it's a situation where people are being hypercritical though because of all the accolades and the Heisman, and is it that type of situation, or are they legitimate? And you know what I mean? Are they legitimate gripes they have with them?
I mean, I think the legitimate gripes when you get picked as number 2 in the draft. You know what I'm saying? You got to show and tell at number 2. You know what I'm saying? You got to be who you got to be who they say you are.
Yeah.
So they brought him in. I think the problem is they brought him in as a wide receiver, and I think he should have went in as a D-back.
That's a D-back.
You know what I'm saying? I think he was a much better defensive back than he was a wide receiver.
Always said
that. But wide receivers get paid more than D-backs do. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, also he was a better D-back. Go ahead, Clay.
Also, when you come in with that much hype and stuff like that, them coaches can't ignore the fact that he's still a rookie. And you need to coach him up a little bit. You need to give him technique, teach him how to do it on this level.
Them coaches got to take responsibility.
You got to coach him up.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be the finished product coming in there. Yeah.
No. Yeah. And also that conference.
Go ahead.
That conference he played in, and in college, you ain't getting a top-notch matchup every night.
And that's the point I was going to make. When you in the NFL, man, you got D-backs, safeties, and linebackers just as fast as you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing that separates good wide receivers is route running.
Yeah.
That's the thing that separates.
Yeah.
That's right.
I did see like they showed like a clip of him running a route, and he did look clunky. You know what I mean? Like it didn't look like a smooth route.
It was. But then they showed another one. He was that route you talking about, Mike? Was that one he was running like a comeback to the sideline? Was that one?
Right.
It's like he pivoted off the wrong foot and all that. Yeah, he really looked bad. Then they showed one where he was running in. Where he make like a slant in, or you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Right. That's the one I saw. Yep.
And he looked better at that one than the other. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I saw that one too, Mike. He was bad. It was bad. But then he said it was a bad throw.
Yeah, but look, when you got guys,
see the way they say that.
Go ahead, man.
Oh, I'm going to say they're saying, that they're gonna put him as a wide, and he's gonna be a dime D-back if they need him. I think they set them up for failure at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because how tall is he? He's only 5'10", 5'11", right? 5'12".
Yeah, about that.
That's not short he is.
So he's
he's not that big.
Travis Hunter's not big.
Yeah,
he's not that big, but.
So he's going to have to depend on his skills in the NFL. He's just not going to be able to outplay or outshine people in the NFL.
So
he got to depend on his skills.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to learn the game of football at the next level.
It may hurt his pockets, but if I was him, I would go back to D-back position and try to develop my wide receiver position.
He ain't giving no refunds. He ain't trying to do that.
I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised he's lacking in that area with Dion as his coach, because there's some of the things that Dion know real well. He played corner, but he also played wide. But he's been in the league for a long time. Dion understands the nuance of the wide receiver position and stuff. So I'm a little surprised.
But see, you gotta, and that's a good point. But you gotta remember this: when Dion played both ways, you had safeties and D-backs the size of linebackers. You know what I'm saying? These days, these linebackers can keep up with wide receivers. Some of these safeties are actually faster than these wide receivers are.
Yeah.
So, Dion was a fast guy, so you can send Dion on a post or a fly, and he's flying past everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dion didn't run all the routes in the route tree. He just ran past
right.
people. Yeah.
No route runner.
Right. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
And then you got to also remember too, when Dion was doing his thing, you had Andre Rising on one side of him. You know what I'm saying? You had Jerry Rice on one side. You had Michael Irvins on another side of Dion. So Dion had a lot of talent that was out there with him when he was doing it.
Pin this though. Michael Irvin. That's a resource for Dion. He done came to Colorado, talked to the players. I'm surprised that a person like that, Dion didn't get a little influence, like to work with Travis a little bit and some of his wide receivers and stuff.
He may have, though, Clay. I know T.O.'s out there. They may have worked with him. Yeah, they may have worked with him.
I think so.
You're right, but I think what happened is this: he was meant to be a D-back, and then somebody said, like, look, when you go in this NFL draft, if you go in as a wide receiver, you're going to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the switch is. But I truly think Dion set him up to be a D-back and play a little bit of wide receiver like he was doing.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask y'all this. Because Travis Hunter also has been, like, throughout the last year and a half, there have been, like, distractions and things that, like, off the field distractions and things that might have, like, divided his focus as far as with the relationship that he had with this young lady, right? So could that be playing a part in like his dedication and his focus to the game of football? Could that, like, be affecting that?
I hope not, because he's married now to her. So I hope not. You know what I mean? Is that big of a distraction? If it was, the whole social media thing and all that's gone and out the way. He gets 100% focused on his craft now. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that's the case. The thing about it, man, Clayton said it though. Them coaches gotta coach him up, man. You know what I'm saying? If he's lacking, or he's not proven yet that he's worthy of the number 2 pick, they gotta coach him up. You know what I mean? They gotta coach him up. What is coaching if you're not going to get a player better? You know what I'm saying? What is coaching? You know what I'm saying?
So he gotta be able to dedicate himself to the game of football, and then so that's where, like I said, he even made a post. Him and that young lady, he said that she got mad at him because he came home from practice late. That's that's his bread and butter. You know what I mean? So she can't stand in the way of that.
Ain't no allow her. Ain't no such thing as late when you come home from practice.
Not at all.
Practice, you know what I'm saying? What's late?
You bringing 50 million home with you? Ain't no such thing as coming home late when you got 50 million in your pocket.
Right, man.
I'll be there when I get there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, man. I hope.
All right, well, hey,
do well, man.
I'm gonna let you gentlemen continue talking about it and everything, and I'm gonna let y'all go. But I'm listening though. I'm listening.
Yeah, we appreciate the input, man.
Yeah.
All right, fellas.
That Travis Hunter conversation. Because I didn't know that was going on with him there in camp. So
I didn't know how he wasn't. I ain't gonna say looking bad, but I guess maybe not looking like they expected him to look, not as polished maybe as they expected him to. But I saw that route though, and that looked like me out there, motherfucker, running.
Right. I'm surprised that the girl is a distraction because, like, if you hear Dion and them talk, they act as if he's a gym rat, like he's a rat, like he puts in all his work and stuff like that. So I'm a little surprised at that, but I'm not surprised, but I am surprised, if that makes sense.
That's the kind of situation where you gotta kind of be kind of like, and he young, he didn't know any better, but you gotta kind of be like worried. Because when you think about Mike Tyson, Tiger Woods, it only take one incident with these young ladies to throw you off your focus.
You're right about that.
To disrupt your life, man. And then next thing you know, you can't. You got to have somebody who just going to really really just stay out the way or try to benefit you or push you in the, you know.
Then another thing, speaking about coaches, do you have coaches in place down there in Jacksonville that's really gonna, you know what I mean, say, all right, I'm gonna dedicate to making him a better receiver.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or just say, man, you got to keep up. You got to keep up. Just the pace. Then you know what I'm saying? You got to keep up. You got to be here when you know what I'm saying, on your eighth foot, boom, you got to plant and turn. Ball gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? It's like that, man. And I always tell you, man, a guy, man, who I always thought wasn't the biggest, wasn't the fastest. He had hands and he was an exceptional route runner, man. That was Chad Johnson, man.
Yeah, Chad can run.
Johnson, man, was an exceptional route runner.
His speed was ridiculous.
His foot was crazy. And I always wonder, how he always open? He ain't even that big, ain't that fast, but that's how. That's how.
But do y'all remember Mason? Remember the Ravens had that dude Mason?
Man, he was a down and out king, man. That's
I don't think he was exceptional route runner. I don't think he was exceptional route runner.
He was.
Hey, look,
down and out. And Joe had that big arm. He did that.
Yeah, that Mason dude, he found ways to get. I was like, and
He found ways.
Later in their career, like, you know.
I'm gonna tell you who the man was. Steve Smith. He was the man. He was physical. He'd get open.
Yeah.
You don't think so, Tom?
Yes, sir.
Steve Smith. And you would hate for him to get any type of separation because once he got that ball, he physical, like you said, he would try to run you over.
He run like a running back.
Ran like a running back.
He ran like a running back.
You know, he only like 5'10".
Yeah. I want to go back to Trav for a minute. I wonder if, you know, sometimes when you are superior athlete on a lower level, and even though you might be putting in work, the game comes so easy. But now you go to this next level, and it's a whole lot of resistance. I wonder if that might be affecting them to some degree too. And when you got a draft pick number 2 as a team, you should be putting a lot of resources into developing that because that's an investment. Like you really invested something in that. So when you got a number 1 draft pick and you draft them that high, you got to develop resources to that, to really develop that, to get to not let that draft pick be a bust. You know what I mean? Because that set your team back.
Yeah, for that reason, and I think you're right for that reason. I think they are going to devote the resources to him, whereas though, you know, he can't like almost like he can't fail or make it so that, you know, you got to damn near be quitting if you do fail. You know what I mean? Because you know, for $50 million, number 2, you know, his footwork can be corrected.
I think so. That can be coached. You know what I'm saying? That can be coached, man. That's not something. Oh man, you gotta throw him out now because you know what I'm saying. He's a bad route runner. You know what I'm saying? You can coach him now. But how far as hands does he have? Above average hands?
I think
he looked like it in college.
Yeah.
And I seen him make, but see, it's only clips that I'm going by, like what they showing, like what doing in camp. But I seen him make a couple acrobatic catches in camp. You know what I mean? And I also seen him drop an easy one.
And that's the thing. You understand? Like you make the spectacular ones that you see on Sports Center. But then, like we were just talking, that down and out, and that ball is a fast ball coming. He ain't that though. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta be ready. Catch with their hands. And look, they're not even hitting yet. This just OTA. This just
you're right.
Pretty much 7-on-7 drills and shit, right?
That's it. You know what I'm saying?
But what's gonna happen when they really start getting it in?
But you know, they don't do it like they used to. Remember, no more 2 a day, none of that like they used to.
But they still get to a point where they put them pads on.
They do. And see, the thing about I was saying is he's not a big guy. I know he's fast, but how is he gonna get off the jam? So you got them D-backs, man. They just as fast as him, but they stronger too. So you can't get off the jam. You can't even get into your route.
You can't get into your route.
That's coaching. That's coaching and technique too, though. You know what I mean?
Technique.
Some though, Mike. Some. If he would be better right now as a slot where you're getting a free release. You know what I'm saying? Where you getting a free release and you going up against the nickel back or safety or maybe sometimes even a linebacker. If you're on the edge, you're facing the other team's best deep back, best corner.
Number one or their number two,
And look, I'm gonna take both of y'all guys back. I'm sure y'all remember when Desmond Howard was with the Raiders. When Desmond Howard was with the Raiders, they drafted Charles Woodson, right? And they in camp, right? And Charles Woodson is up pressing him, bump and run, and Desmond Howard couldn't get off. He couldn't get off. He couldn't get off.
Yeah.
And then Charles would jam him, and then he could run with him. You know what I'm saying? So he couldn't use him. You know what I'm saying? He was just as fast. So it maybe like 5 or 6 plays in a row, Charles was jamming him every play. Desmond couldn't get out the line. So then Charles backed up, and the coaches told Charles, no, go back. We ain't looking at you no more. We looking at him. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even, we know you good. We looking at him now. You know what I'm saying? Man. If he out there facing the other team's best corner every game, and he not strong enough to get off that jam, because you know you can jam him 5 yards, you can whip his ass.
5 yards. You got 5-yard window.
So you turn him loose. And if he can't, you know what I mean, if he ain't strong enough, like ain't nobody gonna be like Michael Irvin. You know, Michael Irvin used to beat them D-backs up, man. You know what I'm saying? Michael Irvin for nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? He beat him up. But then if he can't get off the jam, then what? You know what I'm saying? So that's why the old fast receivers, they best in the slot.
In the slot.
Release it. You know what I'm saying? Like when Tom Brady turned them guys into all them catches and stuff, Wes Welker and all them guys catching all them balls.
Element and all them guys. Yep.
Right. Yeah. Put them in the slot, free release.
Didn't he have Brandon Stokely for a minute? Or was that Peyton Manning?
That was Peyton. That was Peyton. He
had Brandon Stokely.
He had with the coach. Yup, man, with Denver and the coach. Yup.
Hey, y'all know that so the owner for the Colts passed away a while ago.
Yeah.
And his daughter is running that team.
Jim Irsay,
yeah, his daughter is running that team now.
He got 3 of them, right? 3 daughters. I don't know which one is running it, but 3 of them supposed to be all involved. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
But I'm about to get out of here, fellas.
I appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, appreciate everybody who tuned in. Make sure to like and subscribe. And we'll be back next Saturday. So you say Saturdays you open now, right?
Yeah, man. We just got our we had to pick our summer schedules. I went back to the weekend, so my weekend's back open now.
What's up?
Yeah, man. Y'all enjoy that game tonight, man.
Yeah, man. I might be shooting in the group text a little later on about the game, man. So.
And watch the game carefully. Absolutely. I'll let y'all, man.
Respect.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all.
All right.
I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Panama Queen, Eastside Legend, Rick, Dixie Forbes, Stephen Woods, Mike Sherrill, 34, what's that? 34 ST Zoo. Yeah, man, everybody who tuned in, participated in the chat, everybody who watched. Also, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to leave a comment, and tune in next Saturday at 1 p.m. for our live show. Sunday, our live show will be at 11 a.m. And with that being said, I'm out, and I'll check y'all out next weekend. Peace.